Jams, jams, jams. Picture books and jams. Welcome, everybody, to PBJamz. Music and picture books.
All right. Well, good morning or good afternoon or good evening or whenever it is you are joining us here for this episode of PBJamz. We sure are glad you came today. And I am sure glad to be here with my friend Faye Duncan, who is just, I'm telling you, as joyful as this cover is, which you can see. She is just as joyful and just as colorful and just as beautiful. So thank you, Alice, for being here again.
Thank you.
She's so precious. I love always talking with her, and I love her books because they are always full of such color and joy. So, this one is called I Gotta Sing. And if you've been with us before when Alice has been on PBJamz, then you'll see some similarities. Like one of the earlier books that she and I talked about was This Train is Bound for Glory, and very colorful and bright and joyful as well, and also based on kind of a spiritual song. And so talk to us about this book, Alice, and where the inspiration came from for this one.
Okay, so my previous book was This Train is Bound for Glory, and that is a traditional gospel song. This new book, I Gotta Sing, is based on a traditional spiritual. And so what I did, I have an opinion where I believe if we want traditional songs like blues, and if we want traditional songs like gospel and hymns and spirituals, if we want these very classic American songs to continue, we need to share them with young kids. We need to share them with little children. So
Mhm.
I wanted to share I Gotta Sing in a way that would be engaging for small children. And so I turned it into a picture book that is about a little baby who doesn't like to take a bath.
And he is precious, or she. They are precious.
I think it's a little boy. His name is Big Baby, but his first name is Hezekiah. So
Hezekiah.
I named him after my granddaddy. I was like, "Oh, my granddad has a great name that deserves to be in a book."
It does. It absolutely does. That is so fabulous. So yeah, you can see Hezekiah here on the cover. And I love that you set this on like a farm and all, oh my goodness, these little animals are just so incredibly precious. So precious.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you've alluded to it already, but let's talk about where is the music in this particular book.
Where is the music? That is a great question. So in the spiritual, it says, I've got to sing when the spirit says sing. I've got to sing when the spirit says sing. I've got to sing when the spirit says sing and shout with the spirit of joy. And so what I do is that refrain runs through, or that chorus refrain, it runs through the entire book. And it happens each time the Big Baby changes his encounter with the animals. So when he comes to the cow, I gotta moo when the spirit says moo. I gotta moo when the spirit says moo. Gotta moo when the spirit says moo, and shout with the spirit of joy. When he comes to the pig, I've got to oink when the spirit says oink. I got to oink when the spirit says oink. I got to oink when the spirit says oink, and shout with the spirit of joy. And so there is a pig, there is a cow, there is a rabbit, there is a what else?
Dog.
The dog, right? And so each time the refrain changes. However, at the end of the story, when the grandmother finally is able to capture his attention and entice him to come and now take his daily bubble bath, the story ends with Big Baby Hezekiah saying, I gotta run when the spirit says run. I gotta run when the spirit says run. I gotta run when the spirit says run, and shout with the spirit of joy. And so then the story ends, and it ends with a splash as Big Baby, also Hezekiah, jumps in his bubble bath for the day, for the morning.
Love it. And I love, this is one of my favorites. So I love this spread where um this one here where grandma and granddad are kind of winking at each other and just like I just love that. It's just so precious. His relationship with the two of them is just so sweet. And I
Yeah.
love your back matter. So talk to us a little bit about what you hope to accomplish with the back matter.
Okay, so I have another opinion about the next generation of writers and the next generation of lyricists. Where will they come from? They will come from your classroom. But how will these children know that they are gifted at writing lyrics? How will they know that they are gifted at writing poems? How will they know that they are gifted at writing short stories? Unless they have experience exercising their creativity in the classroom. So at the back of my book, there is a template where teachers or parents can share the spiritual template with kids and allow them to rewrite the song in whatever way they see fit according to their creative imagination. And I model, so the text itself is a model of writing your own song, your own new spiritual for this new time, because my book follows that template, and they clearly see, the young reader clearly sees where mine is now, my spiritual, my song is about a little baby who doesn't want to take a bath, but theirs can be about a kid who loves school and doesn't want to go home, or it can be about, it can be about any assortment of things that their wild imaginations and their creative minds can fathom, right?
Yeah.
But in order for them to exercise that, they have to be given an opportunity. So I would also encourage teachers and parents to get my other book, This Train is Bound for Glory, because just like I Gotta Sing has a template, This Train is Bound for Glory also has another template that offers young readers an opportunity to write their new creation.
Yeah, to become their own little songwriter.
Yeah.
Love it so much.
Yes.
Look at these beautiful illustrations. I'm telling you, let's give a shout out to your illustrator.
Yes.
Let me
Yeah.
scroll back up so we can see their name. Look, Paul Kellum.
Right. Yep. Paul Kellum.
Paul
And
Kellum. What a
he's
great job.
he's done the Little Mermaid, the Disney Little Mermaid book. He did that. He did This Train is Bound for Glory. He did what is it? Is it Tahari Henson's book, The Famous Actress. He did her book, and so he's really popular now and doing so many fantastic things. So I feel fortunate that he was able to capture the family love and the joy of the farm and the baby for his grandmother and his uncle.
Yeah. I love this and I love it. When I was a young girl growing up, my dad would, often make up songs and we would do, just on the spur of the moment kind of things or using a familiar tune and then kind of switching up the words. And so I love that. It brings back joy for me as a young child with my dad singing with me and singing on the farm and, while you're doing the chores, and all that thing and how music is just such a part of daily life. And that's one of the things that I love most about this book is just like this music is weaving its way through their day and it's just a
Mhm.
part of their life and they're singing through, I mean, they're singing with the spirit of joy just through their life. And I love that about this text and these pictures and all of this is just so lovely and so beautiful.
Well, you also know that if you see, they are, as you mentioned, they are on a farm. So I wrote the book for another reason as well. Oftentimes in picture books, we only see urban and suburban settings. We seldom see rural settings being amplified, elevated, celebrated. And so I live in Memphis, which is the front door of the Delta. Memphis is a urban city, but it is surrounded on
Mhm.
on all four corners. It is surrounded by agriculture, land, cotton, corn, soybean. Okay. And so there are several children in my area who live in a agriculture environment. And so I wanted to write for them, celebrating celebrating that environment that is their life and also sharing that environment with urban kids who have never seen a
Right.
land stretch from here to the horizon, right? And
Right.
so I had the rural child in mind, or children who are growing up in an agricultural environment. I had them in mind when I wrote this book as well.
Well, and I think it's so cool, Alice, that we often think of, and it's not even true in if we take it back to the earliest days, but nowadays I think we think of gospel songs and spiritual songs as being relegated to church times, right? To worship times that are set aside. But the reality of it is that this is another kind of nod back to the origins of these songs because they were written and sung as people were going about their daily lives. It was not songs that were necessarily meant to be sung in church. It was songs to help them make it through the day and all the things that they were dealing with and facing. And so I love that you've kind of put it back into its original context of people that would have been out in the fields or working on the farms or whatever and singing these songs to help them make it through the day. But yet you've contemporized it for the kids of today. And like you said, you can put whatever in there you want to. You can drive the tractor with the spirit of joy. You can
Ride
um
the bus, right? You can ride
yeah,
the bus, right?
right. You could put it back in an urban setting if you wanted to, for sure, whatever is appropriate for those particular students. But I also think it's really cool, in writing circles all the time, we talk about layers and the importance of layers. And so I love the layers that you built in here. You have not only this intergenerational relationship between these grandparents and sweet little Hezekiah, who is just precious. You have the farm layer, you have the spiritual layer, you have the farm animals. I mean, you could have the farm without the animals, but you have the animals in here and the animal sounds. So again, so many layers that make it very accessible for all different kinds of kids.
And also then you get to talk about things in the curriculum that are related,
Yeah,
right? To
yeah,
agriculture, the life cycle. And so again, it is multifaceted. It is across the curriculum. It is science. It is music. It is social studies. But one more thing too. You mentioned about the songs being from another time
mm-hmm,
and them being something that gave the people peace and encouragement while they did work and while they went through the day, taking upon their task, correct?
right.
Well, another reason that I wrote the story is because I realized that, like a balm and like a song of encouragement that it was in another time and place. Children today wrestle with discouragement, they wrestle with sadness, they wrestle with loneliness. Children today look at the news and they see what's happening. And children today live in homes where there is unrest. And they need those old time songs because what was good for the people in the olden days is still good for the human soul right now. And that was another reason to write the book, is to give children another way to be comforted, besides
Mhm.
just this modern day music, to give them another way to like have peace and to feel that as they listen to the music there's comfort and things are going to be okay. And so that's why I wrote it, because the spirituals, the gospels, the folk songs that gave joy and another time, they still are life affirming and joy giving right now.
Right, and that really adds a whole nother SEL element to the book. So that's another whole layer that you've got built in. I want to go back to the music question a second because I was just like, I think I remembered, and then I looked back and it was like, oh yeah, sure enough, I did remember. Let's talk about the instrument that's featured here.
Yes. Yes, the diddley bow. So the diddley bow, every blues musician from the 40s who came up and then went to Detroit, went to Chicago, went to St. Louis, the majority of those black men started in the South, were possibly sharecroppers, the son of sharecroppers. 99.9% of them were poor, okay? And they could not afford guitars. So what they did was their first instruments were diddley bows, which is when you take a string from, there's a string on a broom and you can take it and stretch it on the wood cabin and then you can pick it and it sounds like an acoustic instrument. You also, like the uncle in my story, you can take a cigar box and a broomstick, make the box like a guitar body, make the broomstick the neck, and
Mm-hmm.
you can stretch your strings, your broom strings. And so the uncle is playing a very original crafted instrument that he made himself, something that you will not see now when you go through the Delta, because now, people can afford to purchase guitars, but you won't see that anymore. But I wanted to introduce the diddley bow to the children as an original instrument, as an original American made instrument, and to have another conversation, another social studies conversation about how instruments and technology, how these things evolve.
Yeah, it's so cool. And the diddley bow, like, I mean, it has very strong roots throughout, like you said, blues music, bluegrass music, and even now, actually, there are some folks. I don't know if you're familiar with Justin Johnson. I absolutely love that man's music. He makes a lot of his own instruments, and he makes diddley bows, and sometimes they're called canjos too, because they'll sometimes use a like a tin can in place of the cigar box. So
Yes,
canjos, and so is it, play off of a banjo. So it's a canjo, which is very similar to the diddley bow, but they're just one string instruments. But also, like in China, they have the erhu, which is also a one string instrument, very different sound, but it's amazing all the sounds that you can get and the notes that you can play and all of that. And again, you talked about science, and this is a perfect, perfect, perfect way to bring some science into the conversation because you talk about frequency and length and
yeah,
pitch and
yeah.
all of that. If you just have the one string, like
Mhm.
it's so easy to talk about that and for the kids to see. You can make your own in the classroom, like such a fun
That's
addition.
That is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. So if you knew that somebody was reading this book with littles, what is the one big thing or little thing, the one thing that you hope, oh man, I hope they don't miss that. I hope they see that or pay attention to that and share it with the littles.
I hope that they don't miss the opportunity to go to YouTube and sit down with their little one and go and listen to spirituals. Look up other spirituals that may be interesting to them, interesting to their ears, that where the lyrics may be appropriate for them, and listen together and look at the history of that music and then just be comforted by the music because that's what spirituals were. Many times they called them sorrow songs, but just like a blues song, they were sometimes such a sorrowful dirge that the soul can't do anything but feel purged and good, you know? And so I just hope that the parents will go immediately to YouTube and try to find new spirituals that they can share with their littles and enjoy the comfort of those songs together.
Oh, I love that. Love it. Yeah, so much good richness in here. So many different directions teachers could take it if they wanted to use it in their classroom. But also great for families, as you mentioned, daycare centers. I mean, this book is so um, really versatile. It could be used in so many different ways and places and still be really enriching and lovely for for students and children and families. Love it. Okay, well, before I get to the last little thing that I want us to talk about, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to point out about the book or the journey or any of that?
Yes.
Okay.
So if teachers would like to use the book, I encourage using it as like a call and response because
Uh,
the kids get that first moo or that first oink. They'll catch on that as the animals change, then that's when they can come in for that chorus or that refrain. And then I would also encourage that the teachers use the writing exercise. Do not neglect that writing exercise to allow your students to exert their creativity. And if you would like, if you go to my website and you see other books by me that you would like to use, please contact me because I have teacher guides for a great variety of my books, including This Train is Bound for Glory. I have a teacher guide. Opal Lee, I have a teacher guide. Memphis Martin and Mountaintop, I have a teacher guide. I have a whole assortment of teacher guides, but you'll just need to contact me so that I will know where you are and I can then dispatch the teacher guide to you via a PDF form.
gotcha. Perfect. So y'all, if you're wanting to use this book or other books, reach out to Alice and she will get you hooked up with some good teacher
Teacher.
skills. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I shared it so you guys can see this beautiful book. I'm going to stop sharing and so we can see Alice's beautiful face. And I want to end with this question that we always end with, and that is what's new, what's coming, where you going to be, what you doing? Fill us in.
All right. So, for all my music lovers, I have one book that's upcoming that you should not miss. It is B.B. King's picture book biography. It is called Blues Boy, the B.B. King Story. It will be released January 26th, and it is stunning. The artist is Carl Joe Williams from New Orleans. The art is stunning, and it opens up with what I call my it's just a blues poem that sets the foundation for BB King's life, and it's something that's very easy to share and teach to your littles. The second book that I have for January 26th
My
is
goodness, girl.
the second book. The second book that I have for January 26th is The Dream Builder's Blueprint, which is Dr. King's message to young children. It is a erasure poem where I took Dr. King's speech from 1967. He did the street sweeper speech. I took his speech. It has like 1,700 words. I made it an erasure poem while I erased the words, erased the words, erased the words, came up with like 170 words. Yeah, I think 170 words. And it's now a new poem about celebrating yourself. It's a poem about being excellent, about always going the distance to do your best. It's a book about like embrace nonviolence, right? And so many concepts of just being your best, loving your neighbor, embrace nonviolence, practice excellence. And then when things are still somewhat difficult or hard, in the words of the old folks, Dr. King told young children, keep moving.
Mhm.
Just keep moving.
And that is some good advice for all of us, no matter where we are in life and no matter how old we are.
Keep.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So wow, two books in January. Like I am just sorry I interrupted you, but like I am in awe. Like, woman, that is just like ridiculous. That's amazing.
Yeah,
So
I'm
after
busy. I am like really, I'm a national board educator. I taught school for 30 years. And so now that I have like retired from teaching school, but not retired from teaching, I am now using my books. I look at the curriculum, I see what is missing, what do I think children need to have in the curriculum, and then I write toward that. I identify some historical person or identify some concept, and then I write toward that. Am I still getting rejection notices? Absolutely. But in the words of Dr. King, I keep moving.
That's right. You just got to keep moving forward. That's great advice for all of us, whether we're writers or whatever we're doing. It's good. Rejection is abundant no matter what we're doing. So it's good to be reminded that we just need to,
Keep moving.
yeah, just keep moving, keep moving. This has been so good. It's always so much fun to talk to you. You're always a light and a joy, and your books are so beautiful and also full of light and joy. And I love how you bring the past forward and make it accessible and fun and make it good and easy for teachers like you do. You do such beautiful work, and I'm always happy to talk with you.
Thank you. So look, let's have me back in the spring semester so we can talk about BBP.
Baby.
Yes, yes. Del
Yes.
Cruz, Bill Street, and all of that.
You know, girl, I would love that. Let's definitely get that on the books for sure. And you guys are going to want to come back for that too, because it's always fun when we have Alice on. And also, sorry, this episode, Alice has graciously offered a copy of I Gotta Sing. And all you have to do to be eligible to win that copy is just leave a comment on the blog below. If you're watching on YouTube, that's not going to work. So just head over to the blog, because also you're going to want to check out all the links. Because, of course, I'm going to link up all Alice's information below. She's going to share some excellent writing tips with you. We're also going to link up some really fun. I'm gonna do my own little mini teacher's guide for this book. So you want to check that out, because that's always what we do on PBJamz, right? So I do my own little mini teacher's guide. It'll be right there below. So check all that out. Check out all Alice's information. And guys, if you read this book and love it, which I can't imagine you not loving, it's so precious. Just jot her a review. Go to Barnes and Noble, Amazon, Goodreads, all the places. Leave a review. Request it at your local library, your bookstore, your school library, all the places. So all the things, all the places. You got all the alls. So make sure you do all the alls. And it'll be great. It'll be good for Alice. It'll be good for you. You can feel like you've done a really good deed because those reviews really, really help authors. So please do that for her. And make sure you leave a comment so you can be eligible for the giveaway. Make sure you check out all the resources and make sure you come back next time for another episode of PBJamz.
Thank you.
PBJamz, songish books and bookish songs, tips for music teachers, interviews and book reviews, a little singing and dancing. PB